Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today. I'm Jamie, that's Dave, that's Heath. We're starting to take a look to the next season because Week 18 is here. So as the NFL playoffs are approaching, the fantasy playoffs wrapping up, we're starting to look ahead to our content for the 2023 campaign, and we're going to show you our top 12 running backs for next season. Again, these lists are subject to change. NFL draft will change things, free agency will change things, but here's what Heath's top 12 running backs look like as of Week 18 of the 2022 season. So McCaffrey number 1, Barkley number 2, Taylor number 3. Soak it up. You can see the list on CBSSports.com. We'll have write-ups on them starting next week. Dave's top 12. Dave got a little creative, put Bijan Robinson in there at number 11, but very similar guys at the top. McCaffrey, Eckler, Taylor, Barkley. You see, we're going to be, I'm sure, very similar with a lot of our lists, and you could also see lists for Adam Azer and Chris Towers as well. For me, the only difference might be at the end where I have Tony Pollard. Hopefully he's going to be the Cowboys guy next year, and Ramondre Stevenson could be the Patriots guy next year. Those two guys were very successful. So hopefully they will be in prominent roles next year as well. But again, a lot of the similar guys at the top. And the one at the top that we are all in agreement on is Christian McCaffrey. So we had this debate going into 2022. Would he stay healthy? Would he be the guy for the Panthers? He got traded to the 49ers, looked even better. But in the first part of the tenure with the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell was a pretty prominent player. And then McCaffrey just kind of ran away from things when Mitchell got hurt. Are we going to see more of a committee next year to maybe make sure McCaffrey's healthy so the 49ers can make the playoff run that they're most likely going to make once again?
We've seen it from the 49ers before they had Christian McCaffrey. They'd use multiple running backs. I think they're going to do the same thing that we've seen with McCaffrey there. Like you said, Elijah Mitchell gets a little bit of a role. Last week it was Jordan Mason that had a little bit of a role. We'll see that. But there's still enough there for Christian McCaffrey to dominate. And I think a full offseason in this program with this genius coaching staff that they've got, I think it could lead to really big things for Christian McCaffrey. You just have to accept the risks of injury with him. We didn't see it this year. We saw it each of the past 2 years. And I think it's just something you've got to acknowledge when you take him number 1 overall.
You're not taking him number 1 overall, though, right? You're taking Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, number 1 overall. I'm not taking a running back number 1 overall next year. I think Jefferson's done enough, and it continues to see the number 1 wide receiver outscoring the number 1 running back the last couple of years. I would expect that again.
But McCaffrey is still
number 2.
Number 2 overall pick.
Yep.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Jonathan Taylor is somebody, again, that we're buying back into to a pretty big degree. You know, not that he's number 1 again, but you know, you're still looking at a guy that's young, that hopefully will have a better quarterback, hopefully better offensive line and better coach. So Heath, when you look at all those factors, easy just to trust Taylor as a first-round pick and a top 5 running back again?
Yeah, especially as someone who's just going to be 24 years old at the start of next year. And we got so many of these guys who have been top 12 running backs for so long, and now they're 27, 28 years old. I expect pretty close to a full bounce back from Jonathan Taylor. It's just that the very best we've seen from Jonathan Taylor is not as good as the best we've seen from Christian McCaffrey. I do want to see the Colts make improvements. You said a lot. There's a lot of different things they've got to fix. And so he might get to number 2 if they fix all those things.
I'm almost counting on them fixing all those things because if they don't, that's when he'll fall back. But as high as he'll get for me is where I have him, which is at 3. So I think he's still got potential to be 2,000 total yards, 15 total touchdowns, and a great fantasy running back. I still like the upside with McCaffrey and Eckler just a little bit more.
Eckler got to worry about age, you know, so 27 will be 28 next year. 28. You know, so that's something you could be a little bit concerned about, but yeah, we're still buying into him and again buying into Taylor. Then there's some other guys that could have some changes this offseason when it comes to free agency. So Saquon Barkley, we don't know what's going to happen there. Josh Jacobs, those are 2 prominent guys looking for hopefully big deals, and they hope they get them. But if they change teams, how much will that change things for you?
Well, of course it's going to change things because they're going to be with a new coaching staff, new philosophy. We don't know exactly what their roles are going to be. So, of course, that's going to be something that plays into it. I can't see the Giants letting go of Saquon Barkley at this point. He's just too good of a running back. I think that he'll stay with the Giants. Jacobs is an open question. We don't know if the 49 or if the Raiders are going to hang on to him, even though he's coming off of winning the rushing title. We think he's going to win the rushing title this year. He's got a big lead right now. Let's see where Jacobs goes, but if he's back in Las Vegas, that's how I have him ranked. He's a top half of the running back, top 12. He's in that top half.
So and that's the hardest. Like this is the hardest position to do this far in advance because quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. It has more to do with the talent of the player and the opportunities there, and opportunities are kind of given at running back. So if either one of those guys find themselves in more of a committee situation, they could nosedive.
Which of the young running backs do you look at and say this guy is the safest and maybe has the most upside kind of wrapped into one? So you got Ken Walker in Seattle. We don't know what the backup situation is going to be there. Most likely it's not going to be Rashad Penny. Travis Etienne, who's coming off a good season, second season. He's not a rookie, but good second season, really his first campaign. And then Breece Hall was absolutely a monster before tearing his ACL. Of these 3 guys, which do you prefer?
I like Walker the best of the bunch. I could see Rashad Penny back in Seattle because I think the only coach that loves him is Pete Carroll. And so he could be back, but he could be in that backup role. Walker would be the lead guy. Walker from week 6 on this year, that's when Penny got hurt, 14.3 PPR points per game. I think there's room for more for Kenneth Walker, and he's going to be the healthiest of the 3 going into next year.
Right now, I have Walker the highest. I think upside-wise, if Breece Hall was 100% week 1, he'd probably, if he hadn't got hurt, he's probably my number 2 running back in these rankings.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
true.
So I do think Breece Hall has the most upside. And I think Etienne's getting slept on just a little bit. The fact that he didn't score as many touchdowns as Ken Walker, but he actually has more yards per game. And he had that stretch at the beginning of the year where he was sharing more than we expected, and then they turned him into a full-time back. He's responded really well.
I didn't put his name on the list. Adam Azer's the only one that hasn't ranked in his top 12, but Javonte Williams is somebody I think you got to give consideration to as well in this range, because if he's healthy, we saw him starting to build and do some things. You just got to worry about that Broncos offense. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Walker's got the most upside right now, but Breece Hall, if he's healthy come training camp, my God, and they get their quarterback situation right, invest in that offensive line, he could be an absolute superstar. So again, we're starting to take a look at our top 12s. We'll have wide receivers and tight ends on Thursday, starting to take a look at our top 24 overall on Friday, and then we'll have a big display of our top 24 as well on Sunday for FFT there. Check out our Fantasy Football Today podcast, wherever podcasts are found. We help you dominate your fantasy leagues, and we're getting into our off-season content there as well.